Sony bent the makers of Days Gone could be working on a live service game, according to a new report from Eurogamer. So the studio confirmed they were working on their next game since June 2022, that it would be a new IP with multiplayer and based on the open world systems they created for Days Gone. Nothing else has been known after that, but now the Oregon studio has posted a new job ad on their website where they are looking for a new lead project manager with hands-on game development experience in leadership roles shipping AAA live service games, plus experience in redefining studios from traditional box product focused game development into live service development studios in a key leadership role. With this, we know the 6 live service games Sony is working on as noted by user Subitech on Twitter, and that includes Helldivers 2, Concord, Fair Games, Horizon Online, and 2 untitled live service games from Media Molecule and Bend Studio. That is out of the 12 that Sony had planned since the beginning, with the other 6 live service games cancelled. In a way, it's disappointing to hear Bend moving away from single player, and worrying given how volatile and crowded the live service market is, but Sony got one right with Helldivers, so I guess the best is to wait and see what Bend Studio does. Would you be looking forward to the next game from Bend Studio if it is a live service game? Sound off in the comments. Welcome to Hype for Games. Here are more gaming news that you need to know. Now let's talk about Grand Theft Auto 6 getting delayed to 2026 as per a new Kotaku article, which has also been challenged by other insiders and maybe it's not that big of a deal. Kotaku's article indicates that sources with knowledge of the game's development say that a spring 2025 release is currently the goal, but the game's development is starting to fall behind and 2026 is the emergency option. Rockstar is said to historically wait until the last minute to announce a delay, so if we get another trailer this year it might not reflect the change. Insider Tom Henderson commented on this news, pointing out that nothing is new in this report and is basically just trying to steer the pot based on a previous article from Bloomberg. The spring 2025 release has been suggested due to an increase in Take-Two's earnings report, and the company indeed tends to delay, so holiday 2025 or 2026 are also possible according to Henderson. Previous reports on GTA6 said that Rockstar staff was being forced back to the office from remote work to make the final push for the game, so it is in its final stages, which has employees worried they will get back to crunch. But nothing is certain on a release date outside of the 2025 window given in the first trailer. In related GTA 6 news, another thing that's been uncertain is GTA 6 performance and if it will hit 60 FPS on current consoles. Rockstar senior artist Halen C replied to a fan on the Vice City GTA forums, saying they don't know but are very confident in getting stable 60 FPS on current consoles. The response has since been deleted, but I would say performance is just as certain as the game's release date, so we'll have to wait. Do you think Rockstar will hit 2025 for Grand Theft Auto 6 or will it be delayed? Will it hit 60 FPS performance on current consoles? Voice your thoughts in the comments. Now time for a round of quickfire gaming news. Starting with Horizon Forbidden West doing really well on PC right now, as the game launched last week and has gotten a 93% positive reception on Steam with over 3,000 reviews. It sits at number 5 in the best rated PlayStation PC port so far, behind God of War, Spider-Man, Miles Morales and Days Gone. It's also getting good traffic from players, reaching a peak of just over 40,000 users, beating The Last of Us Part 1, but it's over 16,000 players behind Zero Dawn, the first PlayStation PC port. It also sits 5th here behind Helldivers 2, God of War, Spider-Man and the original Horizon. Overall great work from Guerrilla and Nixxes Software. Sony is also putting the work to expand PSVR 2 compatibility as the latest update for the device opens it up for PCs. This follows up on Sony's announcement last February, where they said on the PlayStation blog they were testing compatibility allowing players to enjoy a wider variety of games. Developers Ivory and Brad Lynch confirmed on Twitter that the latest software update for PSVR 2 enables PC access, meaning it no longer requires driver and hardware workarounds to make it work on Windows. It doesn't mean you can go and plug yours at this moment, but the move indicates it will work directly plugged in. Right now it just means Sony is doing the right work to support it. Just like they are trying to support the PlayStation mobile app for players to be able to access more in-game content. A user on the PS5 subreddit has noted that an update to the app on Friday enabled the lore section for The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which allows users to see all the content you have unlocked in the game, including cinematics, characters, and items. It's a nice addition, but it will remain to be seen if it's something that will be further supported, or just a test or a feature that will be forgotten in the future. Speaking of the PlayStation app, it has also gotten a new collectible for PlayStation Stars that celebrates former SIE president Jim Ryan. The digital bobblehead thanks Ryan's 30 years at PlayStation, and you can acquire it by playing one of the games he championed as CEO, including Gran Turismo 7, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, The Last of Us Part 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Destiny 2. I think there's no denying the impact Ryan had running the PlayStation business, but his reign was not consumer friendly, and they just laid off over 900 people, so this is somewhat tone deaf. Moving on, Capcom's next Resident Evil game could go open world according to reliable horror leaker Golem. Golem said on Twitter that Capcom will often greenlight new games in trios. For example, RE7, RE2 and DMC5 were greenlit together as part of the new RE engine, which inspired them to do RE3 and RE4 remakes. Dragon's Dogma 2 is now expanding the RE engine for open world, with Monster Hunter Wilds and Resident Evil 9 being built around this new technology. But he also knows these new projects are made with goals to retain the same series DNA, with Dragon's Dogma 2 still being the same formula, and the same will be true for Resident Evil 9, so maybe it takes advantage of the improved engine in other ways, and doesn't necessarily mean a change to an open world game. Speaking of Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami, father of the series, appears to have created a new studio since leaving Tango Gameworks early last year. The creator appears listed in the shadows of the damn Remaster website for his contributions to the original as executive producer and the industry with Resident Evil and The Evil Within. Then it mentions that after leaving Tango Gameworks he established Kamui Inc. It's not a mistake as the studio is listed on the English and Japanese versions of the website, but they spilled the beans early since Mikami has not officially announced his new studio. Let's continue with another horror game and the long saga of the Silent Hill 2 remake and its mysterious release date. GameStop has been putting up new promotional material for the title, which points out a fall 2024 release, reinforcing what Sony said in a trailer for upcoming 2024 games at the beginning of the year. It also adds to the game recently receiving its South Korean rating, which often means a game is 3 to 6 months close to release, so we could get a September or October window, which lines up with GameStop promotional material. We just have to wait for Konami to finally decide to announce the game's launch. In a similar position is Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws, as it was rated in South Korea last week, listing the inclusion of in-game gambling elements and landing a 19+ rating. It doesn't list real-world gambling, but instead a fictional minigame where you can bet and receive payouts. Other behaviors pushing for the 19+ rating are representations of anti-societal idea, religion, and public morals that would be harmful to children under 19 emotionally and physically. Disney did list the game for late 2024 in a blog post of their upcoming experiences at the beginning of the year, and just like Silent Hill, being rated in March would put it as early as June or as late as October for a release date. Let's stick with Ubisoft and another game that may have indeed been delayed. We're talking about their Tom Clancy's universe free-to-play FPS XDefiant. A new report from Insider Gaming notes that with the game scheduled to launch by March 31st, the developer has gone dark in terms of updates and a concrete release date, a huge contrast to how it was last September when they fostered a community that was very happy with the game's closed beta. Tom Henderson also points out the game missed dozens of internal targets, putting it in limbo as developers got frustrated with progress and the executive pursuing Call of Duty. Executive producer Mark Robin replied to a fan on Twitter regarding the report and indicated the game was delayed due to tech issues and not anything regarding gameplay or pursuing Call of Duty. Next, Crash and Spyro developer Toys for Bob has reached an agreement with Microsoft to work on their first game, according to a report from Windows Central. The studio wasn't a fan of Activision's corporate mandates that often put them into supporting Call of Duty and announced they were leaving Microsoft and Activision last month. Microsoft held a recent town hall with staff, and upon being asked about Toys for Bob, they replied that an agreement was reached with the independent studio, which will be working on similar games they have made in the past. Given Microsoft held the rights for both Crash and Spyro, there's a chance it could be a new game based on either. Will that game arrive on PlayStation? It's too early to tell, but given the new Microsoft multi-platform strategy, there's a chance. And speaking of Microsoft games, Grounded will be getting a new collector's edition alongside the new physical edition as revealed by Limited Run Games. The Grounded Fully Joked collector's edition will include the game, a 2-disc soundtrack, a USB cassette tape soundtrack, a dice set, matte miniature figures, hoop sweatbands, a 4x6 frame, 10 swappable art cards, stickers, and an art book. It's priced at $125 with pre-orders available now for PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch until April 25th. Also getting a collector's edition is Final Fantasy XIV's upcoming expansion Dawn Trail, but the bonuses are very interesting. Pre-ordering the expansion gives you a Sedan minion, while the collector's edition has a Garnet minion, both characters from Final Fantasy IX. Director Naoki Yoshida joked during the presentation for the expansion, saying these Final Fantasy IX references in 14 are a secret. A secret that NVIDIA let everyone know in September 2021, but let's continue acting as if we don't know anything about the Final Fantasy IX remake. Recent rumors have said it will be a while until we'll learn anything about it anyway. And those are the PlayStation stories for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, give this video a thumbs up or down to let me know your feedback, check out more content you may like as well, such as an update on the games that will leave the PS Plus catalog soon, and subscribe for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Hyper Games, and I'll see you on the next one.